Hello everyone. Welcome to the LeverX webinar series, a free educational service offered to SAP customers to inform and demonstrate SAP functionality and industry best practices to improve your business performance. Our webinar today is entitled, "There is a new way to manage your SAP engineering documentation." Today's webinar will discuss and demonstrate in detail the many uses of SAP's new Engineering Control Center, or ECTR. ECTR can manage not only CAD-based models, but is also a valuable tool to help you manage any engineering documents. My name is Ralph Davis, Marketing Manager at LeverX, and I will be the moderator for today's webinar. Before we begin our topic, let me briefly introduce you to LeverX. So yours, Dave.
Thank you, Ralph. You know, and as a presenter, I reserve the right to change my agenda around because I just do. So what Ralph just described, I'm going to do, but I've kind of shuffled the deck a little bit, and so we'll see just a slightly different run through that, but that's okay, no big deal. We're still covering the same thing in a different manner. So hi everybody, once again, this is Dave Cramp, Director of Solutions and Services here at LeverX, and welcome to a new way of looking at how you can work with SAP document management and working with your we have engineering documentation, but I should really say your enterprise documentation, because that it's kind of, if you say your engineering documentation, you're siloing yourself into a portion of your corporate business. So really, it is your enterprise documentation is probably maybe a more apropos way of saying this. But regardless, we're going to see a new way of doing this utilizing the SAP ECTR, or Engineering Control Center. So what I'm going to do is quickly give you a DMS overview. What is SAP DMS, which is Document Management System, and then talk a little bit about what are the different options that SAP provides you, Mr. and Miss SAP customer, ways of working with SAP document management, and then specifically let's narrow in on one of them, which will be the SAP Engineering Control Center for documents and managing the processes around your enterprise documents. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about SAP DMS. Why do customers need SAP DMS? Well, basically every enterprise creates documentation along the life cycle of their products and their offerings, and there are many different areas that create documents. Research, research and development, sales, supply chain, manufacturing, procurement, etc. There's documentation that's created in each of these swim lanes, as we see on the screen. The big thing to remember, though, is if you create it and it's in a shared drive or it's on a laptop, to share that information across the enterprise becomes cumbersome, becomes awkward, becomes very error-prone, because you have different ways of getting to that data. I got an email last week from Bill. Well, Bill sent out another one yesterday. That's the document we should be using. We've all run into this where we've stepped on our toes looking at old data because we're not going to a centralized enterprise repository. And you typically will use a variety of authoring tools, whether they are Office documents, CAD tools, etc., to create and manage this information. And then with SAP, there's another set of documents that you have there as well. The whole idea, though, is you need to maintain your data across the entire product lifecycle and have access to it, so you have the most current data, and the people who are in the product line, from market and sell to service, have the appropriate information. And then obviously on the left-hand side, there's different ways of dispersing that information, whether it's via email, fax. If you know how to use a fax machine, that's my joke for the day, or through the internet. And then also, as you have this information, once again, the whole idea is if you have a single repository of it, you have a control mechanism to manage that. If you have a number of different document management systems and then documents in a non-document management system, that's where enterprises typically fall and get into trouble. So how does SAP help you manage this? Well, SAP has a comprehensive document management solution built in to the core application of ECC. And what does it provide you? It provides you the ability to create versions of documents and structured documents. You have the ability to manage approvals and change control so that you make sure you have a process which you can review and approve documents and put them effective. You have the ability to use workflow on documentation. And I also have a bullet in there, LeverX ICS, Innovative Change Solution. So LeverX's workflow tool is embedded, we've embedded SAP's, or LeverX's, shall I say, workflow tool right into document management. So you can use our very easy to use and build and use, shall I say, workflow tool here. Document distribution. A lot of times when you finish with a document, especially like in an engineering aspect, you need to push it out to the supply chain guys, the procurement guys, or the shop floor guys, etc. There's many scenarios where you need the ability to distribute documentation. If you have outsourced engineering or outsourced manufacturing, how do you get that information? And then how do you make sure, once again, you manage that information? And access anywhere, whether it's in the four walls of your enterprise, whether you're mobile and you're out doing service in the field, whether once again you're an outsourced partner working with your enterprise, you need to have access to this information anywhere. The other thing is you then need to be able to integrate that into what you're doing, and this is one of the key aspects here is these middle set of bullets. Process integration. I just have three there: material masters, project management, logistics, procurement. The whole idea is you need to be able to link these documents to the specific processes within your organization, and those processes are typically run via SAP and transactions therein, and be able to link that latest and greatest document information there. So, you know, I have three bullets there, but it can be any number of things, and I have another slide that kind of explodes out a little more as well.